Well, I'm back out on the habitat management property, and I was just wanting to get you caught up on what we've been doing out here through the summertime to continue to help grow a deer herd. And yeah, just wanted to bring along for pretty much a tour of the property and discuss what it is that we're doing. Because we're in the south, it is pretty arid out here. We don't get a whole lot of rains, so maintaining our water holes and just monitoring the creek here, making sure that it maintains water is extremely critical for us. We keep a lot of greens from February until usually about July, mid-July. Things kind of peak out and start to dry out really bad. So we're just watching everything right now. You know, it's late June, the rains have kind of let up. It's been 105 degrees almost every day for the past couple weeks, and yeah, just monitoring how much vegetation there is out here is important. Now, as you can see, we've got a lot of green out in these little openings. These are what are going to be food plots in the fall, at least this area, and there's a couple others that I'll show you here in a minute. But yeah, for now in the summertime, there's really no sense in us planting and putting up a whole bunch of, or trying to put a whole bunch of energy and money into putting crops out here. Now we'll talk here in a minute about when it will be important for us to plant. But right now, our focus is maintenance of trails, such as this one here. Make sure that fawns and deer have escape paths from predators, and turkeys as well. Make sure that turkey poults and turkeys have easy flow to keep them moving through the land and moving through safely. One thing I like to do with the mower is create little paths like this, the one that I'm walking on, that kind of weave and wind around through brush just to give fawns, poults, deer, just whatever may be trying to escape a predator, multiple escape routes. You know, rabbits as well. This is great for them. Just not have one straight linear path. And so we've been cutting a lot of random mowed trails through the brush where they can jump into these big thickets and up underneath these elm saplings. And it also provides food. There's a lot of edge it's creating. They can move through here, eat all the fresh tips off the elm trees, and get into all the weeds and various vegetation that's growing in here. Now, another big reason that we want to have these mowed trails on our property is to maintain a established flow of motion for deer. We can pattern them. We can keep them moving down certain areas of the property that will guide them in front of tree stands, that will guide them to food sources, and hopefully keep them on the property. And without this, especially down here, if you live anywhere in the south where you have a 10-month growing season, it seems like, especially these days, you know that these trails, everything becomes overgrown and thick in a very short season, and it becomes completely unusable by deer and most wildlife for that matter. As you can see on the sides, right through here, it is so thick that deer aren't even going to go in there. The only thing that's going to use that is rabbits and snakes. And we don't know if we're going to hunt this year or not, but if we do decide to, we'll be ready. We'll have the deer already moving in the positions that we want them to in order to walk past stands and make their way towards food sources and have access ourselves without spooking things out. On top of having trails, like I said earlier, there's a lot of woody browse along the edges of these mowed paths that we've created. So it's just edge. You know, the more edge, can't stress it enough, the more edge, the better. And that's a well-known fact. Everybody who hunts deer pretty much knows, or should know, that the more edge you can have in habitat, the more deer it's going to support. This is a plot that we cleared a couple of years ago. We put in a water hole last year while everything was dry in the creek bottom. And this coming fall, I'm planning to spray this down. There's not going to be a whole lot of spraying needing done. As you can see, it's already all dyed and burnt up. That's how summers are here in Texas. Late June and stuff is already starting to decline. But in the fall, planning to go ahead and spray this down, make sure we don't have a whole lot of weeds in here, and plant. I may also go ahead and remove some more of these saplings that are in this little plot, just to have a little bit more sunlight and a little bit less moisture absorption from the trees. But the reason we want to do this, I mean, as you see, there's a feeder in here. We'll probably end up pulling that out and moving it somewhere else. But we got a water hole right there. And then behind me, or in front of me rather, up in that tree is a perfect stand site. And this would be an awesome little hidey hole, little food plot where deer can come in here. It's secluded. They've got water. They can come in, scrape, check the area out, and just move through. Big thing we have to consider out here is already, we're late June, we're in triple digit temperatures. As you can see, or you might be able to see, I'm sweating profusely. I'm drinking water out of a Camelback as I walk around out here. And yeah, the deer have to live in this. So we have to consider thermals a lot. What's going to give deer shade and thermal protection in the summertime. So we try to cut a lot of clearings, kind of like the one I just walked through, that will capture that south breeze and yeah, help push the warm air out. It's just like little bedding areas that we make just along the way, just little trails, lots of escape paths and everything, so the deer feel secure bedding down in these places. But yeah, it is so hot for so much of the year. We can hit triple digit temperatures for half the year sometimes, even into October. So it's just going to make the land that much more attractive, having places that are breezy, open canopy, but also provide them a little bit of cover and browsing, all in the same spot. And this is one of those spots. I'll do a little pan around here so you can see. And about a month ago, this area was completely overrun with giant ragweed, which we just mowed all down a couple weeks ago. It doesn't really give much to the deer. They don't really eat it. They will whenever it's small, but it gets up to 7-8 feet tall, and all it does is make a wall and a thermal barrier. You sit on the other side, a patch of giant ragweed, and you won't get any breeze coming through. It'll just be stagnant, stale air, and nothing is going to want to sit on the other side of that and just bake. So this field behind me was just full of it. But this fall, it's another plot. Plan on planting some other crops in there. We'll see how the season goes, if we get much rain early fall or late summer, and just depending on the weather, we'll decide on what to plant. But right now, just as an experiment, I put some pumpkins in here and saw the other day that they are actually sprouting up, and we haven't had any rain since I planted them. That's a good sign. Yeah, here's one right here. Yeah, we'll see how these pumpkins do. It's just an experiment, and if they succeed, which they seem to be, I mean, they haven't had any rain, they're already coming up, we'll probably do a whole patch of them in here next year. That is, if the deer like them, if any wildlife take advantage of the pumpkins, whether they eat the greenery or the fruit. Now, this here is a little hinge cut area that we made, and I'll get up closer, but the deer have really been going at it in here. You can see all these hackberry saplings that we laid over, and every single one of them is putting out a bunch of shoots, and as you'll see, they're all eaten down. So we know the deer are really taking advantage of this spot. They're probably bedding in here. I'd like to set a camera in here to kind of monitor it, but yeah, this is a great thing to do if you have hackberry in your area, and yeah, you're trying to find a woody browse for the deer. I definitely suggest it. They love eating on it. This is the first season of this hinge cut. We just did it back in February, so this is 1 year of it. We'll see how it performs in years to come, but yeah, so far it's pretty successful. Part of our process out here is also keeping and maintaining feeders in the summertime. It's just a little bit of diversity. It's an attraction. It's not all that fun to hunt over them. I think everybody kind of finds that to be a little bit cheesy, and I agree. But just having them on the property for some supplements and yeah, a little bit of diversity is always good. And yeah, corn, protein pellets, whatever it may be, we'll be throwing out. For now, keeping corn feeders up and running is part of the prescription for the land to help grow the herd out here. Well, I want to show you what we did here. So we cleared this lane. You can see at the end of it there is a good big old eastern red cedar, and it's one of the only ones on the property that's that tall. And we're definitely going to use that as a stand position eventually. And we wanted to go ahead and establish this trail here in front of it. Got this roadway mowed, and we've already seen that buck and velvet walking up and down it, using it. The sanctuary area is right back there on the other side of that high wire line. So the goal is to get deer using this real regularly. We have right here, I don't know if you can see that, but a feeder set up behind me here. It's also in the lane. If we wanted to, we could rifle hunt off this, but what we'll probably end up doing in the future is, once we've determined what kind of crops work well and when, end up planting something along this roadway that we've made, this trail, just to have a little grazing lane for deer, and then make it expand out into a bigger plot out there in front of that cedar tree. But yeah, for now, we're probably going to use it mostly for observation. I want to set a stand up in there, and that'll probably be the next video, is going over the different stands and positions and the strategies behind them. But yeah, having something up there for observation so we can come out here in the mornings. That's going to be a morning setup area because it's nothing but hayfield out beyond it. But be able to set up there and watch what's eating on this feeder in the meantime and get a feel for how wildlife are using the land. I'm going to get out of here now and go get some air conditioning and some cold water. It's 105 degrees right now. So yeah, I don't envy the deer that are having to live out here. Thanks for watching. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you've got any questions or comments or anything, any ideas, things I could be doing out here that could improve, yeah, let me know down in the comment section. Anyways, thanks for watching.